Transactional sex is not alchemy. It is a partial exchange of disowned material. Nothing is transformed. Nothing is raised. No real gold is produced. A man is never fully satisfied by a body that offers itself without loyalty, without the risk of a shared future, without the possibility of children. He may discharge the immediate tension. He may even feel temporarily powerful. But the deeper masculine drive is not only for release. It is for a full offering. A woman who receives him as more than appetite, who binds her life to his, and who together with him creates something that outlasts both of them. Without that, the exchange remains incomplete. The energy is spent and returns nothing higher. There is no real growth, only repetition. The woman, in turn, often takes the man's base energy, his desire, his attention, his vital force, and gives back only the use of her body. No real respect, no real love, no willingness to be claimed or to claim in return. She feeds on the charge while withholding the very things that would make the encounter human and generative. Over time, this becomes addictive, exactly like a drug. The intensity is pursued for its own sake. Deeper relationship, which requires patience, sacrifice, and the surrender of endless options, begins to feel dull by comparison. Nothing is special anymore. Every body becomes interchangeable. The sacred edge of sexuality is worn away until only appetite and performance remain. This pattern is frequently narcissistic and, at its colder extremes, psychopathic. The other person is not encountered as a soul with destiny. They are used as a source of energy, validation, or income, then discarded when the charge is taken. Empathy narrows. The capacity for real bonding atrophies. What seems like freedom is the refusal to be limited by love. What looks like empowerment is only the prioritization of self-feeling over the creation of life and loyalty. In truth, it is disempowering. Innocence is spent. The creative passion that once belonged to love and making a life together is diverted into sterile intensity. You lose the very capacities that would have made you powerful in a deeper sense. Cheap lust treats sex as a mere bodily function, a partial offering given without full presence. You are not fully alive in it. You are only present as appetite, performance, or extraction. Loyalty and love demand more, and they give more. They require the whole person: honesty, risk, sincerity, the willingness to stay. That full offering is what actually transforms people. It concentrates life energy instead of scattering it. It makes the other person irreplaceable. It turns desire into devotion and devotion into a living future. That is why it feels so different from the cheap version. One leaves you emptier, the other makes you more. Spiritually, the consequences are severe. When sexuality is repeatedly severed from love, responsibility, and fruitfulness, it begins to feed the shadow. Thought forms and parasitic currents in the collective unconscious are nourished by exactly this kind of sterile intensity. Desire without devotion, pleasure without consequence, union without creation. The participants may not believe in such things, but the heart and mind still register the damage. The heart hardens. Cynicism settles in. Trust between men and women erodes. The man learns that his deepest offering is not required, only his hunger. The woman learns that she can take without giving herself. Both become less capable of the very love that they secretly hunger for. This is not the highest potential of human beings. The deeper drive in us is toward growth, excellence, and the turning of raw nature into something luminous. Marriage and family at their best are an alchemical vessel in which two people contain each other's fire, transform it, and produce living fruit. Transactional sex refuses that vessel. It keeps the fire unbound and therefore ultimately destructive. Matter without light devours itself. Pure appetite, endlessly indulged, ends in sterility of body and soul. Real transformation only happens when we give the full self: honesty, loyalty, sincere effort, not partial transactions that feed the ego while starving the deeper nature. The whole being is where the real power and wholeness live. Culture tells us to stay selfish and protected. In truth, that stance usually comes from unhealed fear and trauma, and it keeps us from the very growth we were made for. There is a final bitterness to this pattern. It is a privileged rebellion. It can only be sustained inside a civilization that still contains enough order, protection, and surplus, a civilization built by men and women who largely chose the harder path of loyalty, restraint, and the raising of children. The people who reject that path still depend on its results. They live inside the structure created by those who did not live as they do. If the pattern became universal, the structure itself would collapse. There would be fewer stable families, fewer children, less trust, and a slow movement toward cultural and spiritual death. Limited life energy is being spent. When it is given away cheaply, repeatedly, and without the intention of creating anything higher, everything is cheapened. The body, the heart, the possibility of real love, and the future itself. The glow of pleasure does not cancel the barrenness. It only hides it for a while. This is the dark side that polite conversation refuses to name. It needs to be named.